Growth lies beyond comfort, and this simple yet powerful idea carries the potential to transform lives. Comfort zones are alluring. They feel safe, familiar, and manageable, but while they offer security, they also limit us. Remaining within the boundaries of what feels easy stunts our development. Growth, whether personal, professional, emotional, or spiritual, demands that we face discomfort and take on challenges that stretch our limits. By willingly doing what is hard, we build the kind of resilience and character that makes us truly unstoppable. The process of growth begins when we confront situations that push us out of our routines. These situations often bring uncertainty, fear, and resistance. It could be as simple as waking up earlier than usual to train, starting a conversation we've been avoiding, or tackling a task we feel unprepared for. The common thread among these actions is that they don't come easily. They require effort and often a degree of mental or physical discomfort. However, it is precisely this discomfort that sparks change. The moment we choose to engage with what's hard instead of avoiding it, we activate our potential to grow stronger and more capable. Avoiding difficult things feels good in the short term, but it sets the stage for long-term limitations. Challenges, on the other hand, are catalysts. They expose our weaknesses, but they also present opportunities to improve. Consider a muscle that is never used, it atrophies, but when it is subjected to stress, it grows stronger. The mind and character work in a similar way. When we push through difficult situations, we train ourselves to become adaptable, resourceful, and resilient. These traits don't just appear out of nowhere. They are earned by repeatedly choosing what is hard over what is easy. Every person has a mental boundary where they begin to hesitate, an inner voice that says, maybe not today, or this is too much. But the people who become unstoppable are those who ignore that voice or reframe it as a signal to move forward. They know that on the other side of difficulty lies growth. They embrace challenges not because they enjoy the struggle, but because they understand what the struggle produces. It produces courage, discipline, grit, and confidence. These are the attributes that separate those who plateau from those who continue to rise. An essential aspect of growth is learning to be uncomfortable without quitting. When you develop the habit of doing hard things, discomfort becomes less intimidating. You begin to associate it with progress rather than pain. That shift in perspective is powerful. It removes the fear from failure and replaces it with curiosity. You start to ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of, what if I fail? As a result, your tolerance for stress increases and your performance improves under pressure. Life stops being something you endure and starts becoming something you actively shape. Furthermore, doing what is hard often leads to experiences and achievements that would be impossible otherwise. If you think back to your proudest accomplishments, they likely didn't come from taking shortcuts or staying comfortable. They came from persistence, struggle, and effort. You earned them through perseverance. Each of these moments becomes a foundation you can stand on, a reminder that you are stronger than you think. These moments build self-respect and internal power. The more you experience them, the more unstoppable you become, not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. Lastly, committing to do what is hard gives life meaning. A meaningful life isn't one free from difficulty. In fact, much of the meaning we experience is born from overcoming hardship. Challenges force us to define who we are, what we believe, and what we're willing to endure for what matters. They push us to discover our capacity not just to survive, but to grow, evolve, and impact others. In choosing the hard path, we find clarity, purpose, and strength. And in doing so, we become the kind of person who isn't easily shaken by circumstances. Growth does not come from ease. It comes from doing what is hard again and again until what once seemed impossible becomes second nature. That is how we evolve. That is how we become unstoppable. Discipline builds strength in ways that few other habits can. It is the quiet force behind lasting success, personal transformation, and inner power. When we think about what truly makes a person strong, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, it often comes down to their ability to remain disciplined. Discipline is not about perfection or rigidity, it is about consistency. It is about doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. In a world full of distractions and quick fixes, the ability to stay focused and committed to your path is a rare and valuable strength. True discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't always feel rewarding in the moment. Often, it feels repetitive, difficult, and even boring. But it is through this repetition and the steady practice of daily habits that strength is forged. When you wake up early to work on your goals, when you say no to temptations that pull you away from your values, when you keep going even after enthusiasm fades, that's discipline at work. Each of those moments might seem small, but over time they accumulate into something powerful. They build character, focus, and resolve. What many people misunderstand is that motivation is fleeting, but discipline endures. Motivation depends on emotions, which can change with a single moment or mood. You might feel inspired one day and discouraged the next. If you rely only on motivation to take action, you'll only make progress on your best days. Discipline, on the other hand, is what allows you to keep showing up, no matter how you feel. It transforms your actions from optional to essential, and that kind of consistency creates momentum. Over time, it leads to competence, confidence, and real progress. Strength doesn't just come from external achievements. It comes from the inner battles you win with yourself. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, commitment over comfort, you prove to yourself that you are in control of your choices. That self-trust is incredibly empowering. You begin to see yourself not just as someone with potential, but as someone who follows through. That belief in yourself becomes a source of strength in challenging times. When others hesitate, you continue. When things get hard, you persist. This is the kind of quiet power that discipline builds. One of the most overlooked aspects of discipline is that it actually creates freedom. It might seem like a paradox at first, but the structure that discipline provides opens the door to greater flexibility, creativity, and peace of mind. When you are disciplined with your time, you create space in your life. When you are disciplined with your habits, your health improves. When you are disciplined with your thoughts and emotions, your relationships become more stable. Instead of being a slave to impulses or chaos, you live intentionally. You know what matters and you make time for it. It's important to understand that discipline is not something you're born with. It's a skill that anyone can build. Like a muscle, it grows stronger the more you use it. You might start with something small, like committing to a morning routine or limiting distractions during work. At first, it may feel forced, even unnatural, but over time, it becomes part of who you are. The more you practice, the less effort it takes, and eventually, what once felt hard becomes a natural part of your daily rhythm. This steady transformation is where strength truly takes root. Discipline also teaches you patience. In a world that encourages immediate gratification, discipline helps you delay rewards for something better down the line. It trains you to think long-term, to play the bigger game. Whether you're working on your career, your health, or your personal growth, the real results often take time. Discipline allows you to persist during the slow seasons, to keep going when results aren't yet visible. That kind of endurance builds not just strength, but depth. It teaches you to trust the process and stay committed to your purpose, even when progress feels invisible. In the end, discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. It's the daily effort that brings dreams into reality. While others may give up or wait for the right time, disciplined individuals act with purpose. They build their strength day by day, task by task, choice by choice. And that strength becomes their foundation, not just for achieving goals, but for facing life's challenges with courage and confidence. Discipline isn't easy, but it is always worth it. It is the quiet, consistent force that turns effort into excellence and intention into power. Avoiding hardship limits potential in ways that are often invisible at first but become clear over time. Life is full of opportunities for growth, but many of them are disguised as difficulty. When we consistently choose comfort over challenge, we trade long-term growth for short-term ease. This trade might feel harmless in the moment, but it slowly caps what we are capable of achieving. Our potential is not measured by how smooth our path is, but by how we respond to the bumps, the friction, and the resistance we meet along the way. Challenges test us. They reveal what we're made of and show us where we still need to grow. Without these tests, we remain stagnant, stuck in the same patterns, and limited in our perspective. Hardship has a way of forcing us to examine ourselves. It pushes us to develop resilience, patience, creativity, and problem solving. If we shield ourselves from every struggle, we also shield ourselves from the very experiences that shape us into stronger, wiser individuals. Avoiding hardship may keep us safe, but it also keeps us small. Some people go through life doing everything they can to stay away from discomfort. They avoid conflict, difficult conversations, new responsibilities, or any situation where they might fail. While this may create a sense of control or peace in the short term, it also creates a ceiling. That ceiling isn't imposed by the outside world, it's self-imposed. It's built out of all the missed chances to grow. Every avoided challenge is a door left unopened, an experience not gained, a lesson not learned. The more we run from hardship, the more we reinforce the belief that we can't handle it, and that belief becomes a barrier. Strength is not something we develop by accident. It comes from facing pressure, enduring setbacks, and choosing to continue even when things are tough. Hardship is the training ground for strength. When we avoid it, we miss the workout our mind and character need to evolve. Just like a muscle won't grow without resistance, our potential won't expand without struggle. That resistance, however uncomfortable, is where growth happens. It's what forces us to dig deeper, think more creatively, and act more courageously. People who achieve remarkable things often have one thing in common: they've gone through something hard and used it to grow. They didn't become exceptional by always having it easy. They became exceptional by not giving up when things were difficult. Their challenges didn't limit them, they refined them. They were able to discover their limits and then push beyond them because they didn't back down when life got hard. They leaned into difficulty and let it mold them into something stronger. That's the path to reaching potential, walking through hardship, not around it. Avoiding hardship can also lead to a fear-based life. When we consistently sidestep anything that feels too hard, we teach ourselves that we are fragile. We begin to doubt our abilities and fear new challenges. This fear creates hesitation. Hesitation turns into inaction, and inaction becomes a habit. Eventually, that habit of avoiding hard things becomes a mindset that says, "I can't." Not because we truly can't, but because we've never proven to ourselves that we can. Potential remains buried under layers of fear, waiting for us to take a step into the unknown. One of the biggest myths is that life is supposed to be easy. That belief sets us up for disappointment and weakness. The truth is, life is meant to test us. We are meant to grow, to adapt, to rise. If everything were easy, we'd never need to change. We'd never develop depth, character, or empathy. The hard times are where we learn who we really are and what we truly value. They strip away the surface and reveal the core. If we avoid them, we never get to see what we're capable of becoming. Growth is not automatic. It is a choice, and that choice often looks like walking straight into something uncomfortable. Whether it's starting a new project, having a tough conversation, taking responsibility, or confronting a fear, those difficult moments are the ones that shape us. They may be messy, they may hurt, but they are also full of power. By embracing hardship instead of avoiding it, we create space for our full potential to emerge. We stop playing small, we stop settling, and we begin to live in a way that honors what we're truly capable of. Hardship is not the enemy, it's the doorway to everything we can become. Confidence comes from conquering challenges, not from wishing things were easier or waiting for the perfect moment. It is built, not born. While some people might seem naturally confident, their belief in themselves was likely shaped by the struggles they have faced and overcome. Every obstacle we rise above becomes proof that we are capable. Each time we confront something difficult and push through it, we send a powerful message to ourselves. I can do hard things. That message becomes the foundation of true confidence. Confidence that is earned, not imagined. It's easy to feel uncertain when you haven't yet faced the kinds of moments that test your limits. When life is smooth and predictable, there's little opportunity to discover your own strength. You may feel safe, but that safety doesn't translate into self-assurance. It's only when you step into the unknown, take a risk, and struggle through adversity that you begin to understand what you're made of. The victories, large or small, that come from these moments are what fuel authentic confidence. Not because everything went perfectly, but because you proved to yourself that you could handle it, even when things got hard. Confidence doesn't come from avoiding failure. It comes from failing and trying again, from being knocked down and standing back up. Every time you endure discomfort or uncertainty and keep moving, you become more sure of yourself. You stop seeing difficulty as a threat and start seeing it as a test. You stop doubting your worth and begin recognizing your resilience. Confidence rooted in challenge is strong because it has been tested. It doesn't rely on appearances or external approval. It comes from within, forged through experience. There's a misconception that confident people are fearless. In reality, they have fears just like everyone else. The difference is that they don't let fear stop them. They've faced enough challenges to know that fear is often just the mind's way of signaling unfamiliar territory, not a sign that something is impossible. When you repeatedly confront and overcome what scares you, fear loses its power. In its place, confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself more, not because you know you'll always succeed, but because you've learned you can handle whatever happens. Many people try to build confidence by waiting until they feel ready. But readiness is a trap. If you wait until you're completely confident to act, you'll never act. Confidence is the result of action, not the requirement for it. You have to step forward despite the nerves, the doubt, the fear of failing. That decision to act when it would be easier to retreat is what builds the kind of self-belief that sticks. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, and each time your confidence grows stronger and deeper. Challenges don't just teach you about the world, they teach you about yourself. They show you how resourceful you can be, how much pressure you can take, how creative you can get when things aren't going as planned. These lessons stay with you. They shape how you see your abilities and how you approach the future. When you've conquered one hard thing, the next hard thing feels less intimidating. Confidence becomes cumulative, built layer by layer through real experiences and meaningful effort. Conquering challenges also builds credibility with yourself. You begin to trust your own word. If you say you're going to do something hard and then follow through, that creates internal strength. You don't have to rely on external validation to feel capable. You already know deep down that you're someone who shows up, someone who doesn't back down, someone who can handle pressure. That kind of self-trust can't be faked. It can't be given by someone else. It has to be earned through action and persistence. Real confidence isn't loud. It's not about pretending to have it all together. It's quiet, steady, and grounded in truth. It comes from knowing you've been through the fire and come out stronger. From knowing that no matter what challenge lies ahead, you have the strength and mindset to face it. This belief doesn't eliminate fear, but it gives you the courage to move forward anyway. If you want to build confidence, seek out challenges instead of avoiding them. Say yes to opportunities that stretch you. Welcome discomfort as a sign that you're growing, and when you face setbacks, which you will use them as fuel. Confidence isn't about being perfect, it's about being persistent. Keep showing up, keep trying, keep pushing your boundaries. Over time, you'll realize that you're capable of far more than you ever imagined. That realization is where true confidence begins. Hard work separates the extraordinary from the average not because of talent or luck, but because effort is the great equalizer. Talent may give someone a head start, and luck might open a door, but without consistent hard work, neither lasts. What truly defines extraordinary individuals is their willingness to show up every day, put in the effort, and do what others won't. They are the ones who stay late, study longer, practice harder, and push further even when no one is watching. Their success doesn't come from a single burst of effort. It comes from a relentless commitment to doing the work day in and day out. Most people want success, but fewer are willing to do what it takes to achieve it. The path to greatness is not glamorous. It's often repetitive, challenging, and exhausting. It involves early mornings, late nights, and countless moments of doubt. But those who are willing to endure that grind are the ones who rise above. They understand that hard work is not optional. It's the price of excellence. They don't wait for the right moment or perfect conditions. They act, they adapt, and they keep moving forward no matter what. Extraordinary individuals are not necessarily born with more potential than others. What sets them apart is how they use what they have. While others are content with good enough, they demand more from themselves. They understand that mastery is not a result of occasional effort, but of continuous improvement. They take the time to refine their skills, learn from failure, and repeat the process over and over. They don't chase shortcuts or easy wins. They play the long game knowing that real success comes from sustained effort over time. The difference between someone who is good and someone who is great is often invisible to the outside world. It's the extra hour of practice, the willingness to revise something one more time, the decision to stay disciplined even when motivation fades. These small acts of effort may not be seen or praised, but they make all the difference. Hard work builds momentum, and over time that momentum becomes mastery. What once seemed difficult becomes second nature, and new challenges are met with confidence instead of fear. Hard work also reveals character. It tests your patience, your resilience, and your commitment. It shows whether you are driven by ego or purpose. Many people start strong but fade when things get tough. The extraordinary keep going. They've made peace with the discomfort of effort and see it as a necessary part of their journey. They understand that progress isn't always obvious, and that some of the most important breakthroughs come after long periods of unseen work. They don't need constant rewards to keep moving. They are powered by something deeper. In any field, the people who stand out are the ones who have earned it. Behind every performance, every innovation, every success story, there is a history of hard work. There are hours of preparation, sleepless nights, failures, rejections, and lessons learned. Those who appear extraordinary in public have usually been working quietly in private for years. They aren't lucky, they're prepared. And that preparation comes from doing the hard work, consistently and without excuses. It's tempting to believe that greatness belongs only to a select few, but the truth is, anyone can become extraordinary if they are willing to work for it. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's not always fun. It takes sacrifice, discipline, and persistence, but it is possible. The difference between those who reach their potential and those who don't is rarely talent. It's work ethic. It's the decision to do what's necessary even when it's not convenient. Hard work won't guarantee success in every situation, but without it, success is almost impossible. It is the one factor you can always control. No matter your background, your current skills, or your circumstances, you can choose to work hard, That choice alone puts you on a different level. Over time it separates you. Others may slow down, make excuses, or give up, but you keep going. And in doing so, you become the kind of person who not only achieves extraordinary things, but inspires others to do the same. That is the true power of hard work. It transforms you, and through you, it transforms everything you touch. Endurance leads to mastery not through grand gestures or sudden breakthroughs, but through the slow, steady, and often invisible work of persistence. Mastery is not a product of talent alone, nor is it achieved by brief moments of inspiration. It is earned through endurance, the ability to keep going when things are difficult, unglamorous, or painfully repetitive. Endurance means sticking with the process when motivation fades, when results are delayed, and when progress feels imperceptible. It's the quiet decision made day after day to keep showing up, to keep practicing, to keep refining your craft no matter how long it takes. Many people start strong. They are excited by the idea of growth or driven by the spark of ambition. But when the excitement wears off and the reality of the work sets in, that initial enthusiasm often fades. This is where endurance becomes the deciding factor. It separates those who dabble from those who master. The people who achieve true excellence in any field are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who keep going in spite of struggle. They push through boredom, failure, frustration, and self-doubt. They understand that endurance is not glamorous, but it is powerful. The journey to mastery is rarely linear. There are plateaus where progress seems to stall, setbacks that threaten to undo your work, and moments of doubt when you question if your effort is even making a difference. These moments test your resolve. Without endurance, it's easy to give up and move on to something else. But those who persist gain something deeper than just skill. They develop resilience, patience, and a kind of quiet confidence that can't be shaken by temporary setbacks. They trust the process because they've lived through it. They know that growth is happening even when they can't always see it. Endurance also brings a level of understanding that can't be reached through shortcuts. Repetition and consistency don't just make you faster or more efficient. They give you insight. As you stick with a craft, a goal, or a discipline over time, you start to see patterns others miss. You develop intuition, clarity, and depth. This kind of mastery isn't just about performing a task well. It's about understanding it fully from the inside out. And that kind of understanding only comes through time and persistence. True endurance isn't about pushing at full speed all the time. It's about sustaining effort even at a slow pace. It's about finding a rhythm that allows you to continue without burning out. Mastery isn't won in bursts. It's built over years of consistent, focused work. That means learning to work through discouragement, to keep going when the path gets unclear, and to remain committed even when progress feels painfully slow. It means treating each day's effort as a meaningful step forward, no matter how small it may seem. Those who endure long enough often find that mastery becomes more than just a skill. It becomes a part of who they are. The practice, the discipline, the routine, it all shapes identity. What once felt like effort becomes a natural extension of daily life. This is the point where endurance transforms into excellence, when your work is no longer just something you do, but a reflection of your character and your values. You've moved beyond competence. You've stepped into mastery, built not by luck or shortcuts, but by long-term commitment and grit. Endurance teaches you humility. It reminds you that growth is not always quick, and that setbacks are part of the process. But it also builds deep confidence, the kind that doesn't rely on external praise or immediate results. It teaches you to trust your own effort and to believe in the value of persistence. With endurance, you learn to stay focused on the long game. You stop measuring success only by immediate wins and start seeing the bigger picture. The path to mastery isn't for those looking for ease or speed. It is for those willing to endure, those who keep going when others stop, those who accept that greatness is not a destination but a practice. Endurance may not be flashy, but it is the quiet engine behind all great achievement. It is the decision to keep showing up, to keep learning, and to keep improving no matter how long it takes. That steady commitment is what turns average into exceptional and effort into excellence. Through endurance, mastery is not just possible, it becomes inevitable.